Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. Jamie here today with Giorgio. I'm going to be talking about Scream 2022. It's going to be a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the film or you don't care, continue.
Spoilers.
Spoilers all around. But yeah, let's just give a little background before we start. Obviously, the last film came out in 2011. This is 11 years later. And since then, Wes Craven died, so unfortunately, he didn't direct this. So, Radio Silence, they made a film called Ready or Not. I don't know if you've heard of it. I've not seen it, though. And you've got to say, like, they did a really... You can tell the fans of the franchise, like, there's so many, like, Easter eggs and callbacks and everything inside this film.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, we'll just jump right into it. It starts on it with Tara getting the phone call. I just got to say straight up, this opening, I don't top the original, but again, I think it's the second best opening of the franchise.
It is. It's a classic Scream opening.
But it's like, obviously, it's today's like environment in it, like, because he phones her first on his Ghostface, and he's what he just seems like the nicest Ghostface we've ever had, because he's talking to her all, like, you can tell it's him straight away by the voice, but he's not menacing, is he?
It's so easy to like throw the audience off in these films. I think it's just so easy, like, just put a certain character in a certain place and you think, shit, they're the killer.
Yeah, true. And there's a lot of that inside this film. He eventually asks her, like, about horror, doesn't he? And she's like, oh, I like elevated horror, like Hereditary and Badabook and all that shit.
Yeah.
I love his reaction. He's like, what's elevated horror? It's basically like the original, isn't it? Instead of quizzing, like, on original slashes, he's quizzing her on Stab, which in itself is Scream, really.
She says she remembers watching Stab when she was 12 years old at a sleepover. I thought that was, like, that kind of resonated with me a lot, because when I watched Scream, I was a lot younger than 15, I think. And Scream's like the first horror film I ever watched. So, like, her saying that she watched Stab, aka Scream, when she was 12 years old at a sleepover, it's so, like, it resonates with me a lot. So I was just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and same, like, later on, we'll get back to it, but when Mindy's talking later on, and she goes like, oh, people grew up on this, and, you know, when they try, because she's talking about Stab 8 and how it, like, pisses on the franchise and shit. And she's like, well, that's she's basically talking about us, isn't she? Like, when parents show their kids and shit.
Talking about the audience.
Tara's texting Amber, isn't she, on the phone, saying like, oh, there's some weirdo calling me and shit like that. Eventually it's revealed, like, it's like they call back to 4, innit? Like, if you remember 4, and she's like on the phone with Trevor, and he's like, this isn't fucking Trevor. Like, Amber texts back and he's like, this isn't Amber. And then what's the final question now? Can you guess if I got in the house before you locked the door or something? And he just comes from behind her, doesn't he? Tara actually survives, which is a twist of the opening, but he messes her up. Like I said, he slashes her, doesn't he? He breaks her leg, and he fucking stabs her multiple times inside the back. As we hear the police sirens closing in, and then it cuts to the title screen.
That shot of Ghostface and the police lights outside and they're shining on his mask or her mask. You know, you never know.
You never know. And how'd they get away as well? Like, they were right outside.
Yeah, it was a really nice shot, and you don't see it at all in any other film. He was so close to being caught.
True.
He was that close.
Ghostface looks really menacing inside this film. There's quite a few shots where I'm like, oh, especially inside, like, the hospital when he, like, slowly comes out and shit.
Oh yeah, he kind of, like, slowly turns around, and, like, he's kind of, like, I think he bends his neck in a certain way.
Yeah, it's a bit like Michael Myers a bit, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's really
he's quite creepy in this one.
So from there we meet the main character, Sam, who's outside a bowling alley, I think, innit? And she's, well, I've got, like, obviously her name's Sam Carpenter, and, you know, that's a clear callback, like, you know who that is in reference to. Richie comes out, and that's her boyfriend. She's taking medication, and then, like, he makes the joke, like, no, she says it's the boner pills or something, doesn't she? And straight up, I gotta say, I fucking loved Richie. I think Richie's my favourite character. It's unfortunate. Even at the, like, spoiler, he's one of the killers, and at the end, like, when he reveals, he goes, oh yeah, it's a bit of a bummer, innit? I feel like they put that line into because they knew people were gonna like Richie.
Yeah, I feel like most of the characters in this film are quite likeable.
True, apart from, what's her name, Liv. She's the only one who's just, you know...
Yeah, I think my favourite out of all of them is Mindy, though.
Oh yeah, Mindy's really good. But she gets a call from West, doesn't she? Another new character who informs her about her sister's Tara, and she got attacked at the beginning. Yeah,
so Sam and Tara are sisters.
Yeah.
And Sam has left home, basically.
For a very good reason, which we'll find out very soon, the backstory. So her and Richie decide to go to Woodsboro, don't they?
And then the car ride.
Oh yeah, but before that we get introduced to the new characters, don't we, at school? They're all sat outside on the bench, aren't they? We got Wes.
Oh yeah.
Wes is Judy's son, the cop from part 4. We got Mindy, like you said before, Mindy and Chad, brother and sister, cousins of Randa, who, you know, Randy was one of the best. We got Liv, who I mentioned, who like her connection is she went out with this other guy called Vince, and Vince is related to Stu. I think Stu was his uncle.
Stu's his uncle.
Yeah, Stu's his uncle. So that's her relation to the past. So it's kind of, you know, And we got Amber as well. And I guess she lives at Stu's house, doesn't she? That's her only connection,
that's her
isn't it?
only link,
They're talking about the attack. It mirrors the original. Like, quite a lot of this film does mirror the original.
Yeah, because when that scene came up of them all stood outside, I just kept thinking of that scene where they're all sat eating their lunch, like eating grapes and everything. Leave her alone.
Just leave her alone. Our name's Liv as well.
Yeah.
And then we get the car ride, what you were talking about, innit? Rich is talking about how he doesn't know anything about the Stab films. But he knows about Halloween. He's a horror fan, right? Well, obviously he is a fan, but he's pretending at this point that he doesn't know. Because he mentions Halloween, doesn't he? Like, she says, oh, it was someone with a Halloween mask, and he's like, what, Halloween? She's like, no. Not Halloween.
Yeah, he's pretending that he's never seen a Stab. I can't recall whether he knows about the Woodsboro murders, serial killers.
I'm guessing. Well, obviously he does, but he's pretending that he doesn't. So from there, they all go to the hospital, don't they, where Tara is. Where Sam says she'll stay the night, doesn't she? And then Tara clears the room out of the rest of them so they can talk.
And you can tell that the rest of the friends don't really agree with Sam being there. And Amber is very hell-bent on protecting Tara, it seems.
And this is something I just found out. I didn't catch this, I don't think you did, but Rich is like catching up on Stab films in the hospital.
Yeah.
And he's watching one of them, and on the side on YouTube there's a thumbnail of Kirby, and it says that she's alive. It's an interview with her, so they confirm Kirby's alive.
Really?
Yeah. Hopefully they could bring her back in 6.
Sam's looking in the mirror, and she sees her dad.
And who's her dad?
Billy Loomis.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
And it's Skeet Ulrich playing him. It's not
actually Skeet Ulrich. Okay, I want you to flash a picture of me eating skills.
Oh yeah. I thought you meant of the film. I can't find that.
And Matthew Lillard, please.
Boom, George met
there.
him, and at a point he knew that he was in it, and people were asking him all the time. But you know,
yeah, they were being asked and asked and asked at the convention, and they didn't say anything. A lot of people were speculating that Stu was going to come back. None of them really suspected that Billy would make a return.
No.
So when we saw him in that mirror, we both kind of went,
oh my god.
So it was a very, like, the only way I can describe it is that feeling of when you see Dr. Loomis in Halloween.
But this is
Halloween.
Like, this is a lot different because it's Skeet actually doing it with Halloween. Yeah, Donald Pleasance was dead, so we can't, you know.
Yeah, Skeet is actually playing Billy. He's actually going back into Billy's shoes.
He's got the same shirt on when he died, the hair and everything.
Yeah, I've got chills and goosebumps.
Well, like, we got people are criticising this because they're saying it don't belong in a Scream film, but they did it in part 3. Like, Sydney's mum's like, she has an hallucination of her mum. And at this point, like, you might as well do something different. Like, you can't win. You can't win with some people. It's like, you do something different, like, oh no, it's completely different. We wanted it like this. And you do the exact same thing. Like, you should have done something different. It's like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah, I will admit, the computer-generated de-aging stuff wasn't perfect.
Not perfect, no. But I mean, I guess it's still not. Yeah, is it? It's still kind of new, isn't it?
It still needs improving. However, you know who it is.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell who it is, and just the fact that Skeet Ulrich did it as well. Just, oh my god.
So from there, Sam gets attacked, doesn't she, inside the hospital? And I thought it was going to be inside her head, this. I thought maybe she was going to be the killer, because, like, there's a guard right outside. How does Ghostface get in there, attack her, and then get away without anyone, you know?
Well, look at Judy'S Death.
True, but that's more believable because it's outside more, isn't it? Like, this is in a confined hospital.
Yeah, but right on the front porch.
Yeah, but I mean, but there's certain points, like, if you go outside your house, certain points there's dead in it, there's no one there. Well, maybe not on yours because you got a main road, but
I got so many
I can believe more of Judy'S Death than I can this. But again, this could have been inside her head because she does take, you know, tablets and shit, doesn't she? And she's obviously seen a dead dad.
The only thing that kind of makes me think, nah, this really happened is when you look back in the break room in the hospital, all the chairs are flipped.
Yeah, but she could have done that herself, though.
She could have done that herself, but I don't know.
But yeah, it's just
I
this
don't
one. It's just this one scene. But from there, she goes back and tells Tara the truth, doesn't she, about how Billy's her dad. And like years
How she
ago,
found
she
out.
found out that the mum's diaries, and she went into
Yeah.
her mum's room like asking for answers, and she didn't realize. Well, not her dad, but Tara's eventual stepdad
yeah.
was right behind, and he heard it all.
Yeah, and he believed that Sam was his.
Oh yeah, because her mum lied. Yeah, I just realized we didn't even see the mum throughout it all. Maybe to bring her her into it. But yeah, she lied to him, didn't she,
Isn't
about
she
whose
a
baby
drunk,
it was? Yeah, she's a drunk, but she's not dead, is she?
No, she's not dead, but she.
Well, yeah, she's a drunk, but she said, doesn't Tara say she's in business in London or something? But yeah, she tells Tara the truth, doesn't she? And then from there, we go to the bar scene because the rest of the characters got kicked out of the hospital. And what are they saying?
Got kicked out, but
what are they saying inside the bar? I forgot.
Who it could be.
Yeah, I think they're just like, yeah.
That's all they talk about, really, throughout the film, who it could be.
And then Vince comes in, doesn't the guy from before.
And
he starts,
Liv has a connection with him, and
they went out last year or something like that.
In the summer or something, yeah.
And then him and Chad get into it a bit, and he pulls out a knife, and they all get killed. Well, he gets kicked out first. And then this scene, another good one, as he goes outside, his car starts turning on, Red Right Hand's playing.
Oh, that song is just so perfect.
So good.
No matter what.
Oh yeah.
It's just such a good song. I thought at first, like, oh my god, Ghostface is gonna, like, drive the car into him and splat him up against the wall, you know. I thought that's how he was gonna die. Yeah, he went to the car, and of course, no one was there.
Nope, but then Ghostface right behind him. And don't you stab him right, is it the neck or the ear? Oh, it's the neck, innit? It's the neck. It's one stab and then he just falls to the floor, doesn't it? Vince dies and you get that sick shot of the shadow. It's just had the trailer in it of the wall, and it's just Ghostface's shadow coming up with a knife. That was really good as well. So from there, Richie and Sam decide to go to Dewey because he's the expert on this. He's living alone inside a trailer. And this is another thing I didn't notice, but people say he's got Tatum's ashes inside the trailer, his sister, so that's another good callback as well.
Yeah, I didn't see that at all.
I didn't see it either.
So, see, this is another reason why I need to see it again.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I feel like there are so many.
We caught on a few of them though, but there's so many more that we didn't get.
Yeah, there's just so much hiding in every single scene, I feel.
He's watching her TV and Gail's doing the morning news now. That's the first time we see Gail. And he's no longer the sheriff, is he? They asked him to retire or something like that.
They asked him to retire. I think that's due to his injuries.
And maybe drinking, because we see a lot of bottles and he has a coffee and he pours whiskey into it.
He has turned to drink, but I think he turned to drink when Gail left.
True. And speaking of Gail leaving, it brings up later, but we'll talk about it now. They say because Dewey wanted to stay in Woodsboro and Gail couldn't stay in Woodsboro. That's the same thing they did in part 3 or 2, I think.
She wants to go to New York. I think she had work in New York, and
Dewey can't stay in New York, can he?
No, I don't know whether they hinted at him trying to stay in New York.
Yeah, they said 2 months and then he just left in the middle of the night or something, didn't they?
Yeah. So
they arrived, don't they? And she's like, oh, we want to torture you. He's like, I don't do interviews. He's like, give me one good reason to torture you. And she's like, I'm Billy Loomis's daughter. And he starts explaining the rules, doesn't he? And he basically points it out, and even Richard brings it up later. He's like, the love interest is always the main suspect. And he was right on the money with that.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, you gotta suspect the love interest, the friends,
and there's a link to the past.
Links to the past. They're the 3 main elements in this film.
And then he kicks him out, doesn't he? But then from there he calls Sydney. And there's quite a few things that we get revealed about Sydney, yeah. Like, first she's married with 2 kids. And she mentions Mark later on, so that's the Kincaid from part 3. At least Sydney's living happy. And he's like, what does he say? Have you got to go? And she's like, I'm Sydney fucking Prescott, of course I've got to go.
Yeah. Isn't that
that line? Yeah, but they cut the fucking out. Is that she just says, I'm Sydney Prescott. So that was good. And from there, he texts Gail. What does he say? Ghostface is back, don't come here. And I miss you, or something like that. Or I hope you're doing well, smiley face.
Killer's back. Don't come here, and I hope you're doing well, with a smiley face. And he was about to
say I love
text
you.
us something saying I still love you.
Yeah.
Or it was I still, but he didn't finish it, and I think it's I still love you. And it breaks my heart. Because when he dies,
Gail's
he
phone.
sees.
And, yeah.
All
But at
he
least he sees a photo face for the last time.
I know, but oh, my heart broke.
Before we get to that, Sam and Richie arrive at whose house? We didn't decide. It's not Wes's house. It's it's Mindy. Oh yeah, it's Mindy and Fingy's house, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the twins' house.
Yeah. So Sam and Richie arrive then, and Dewey pulls up, and we get Dewey's theme once again. Not heard that since part 2. I fucking love that theme. You can we had that feeling, didn't we?
We kind of knew what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
So when he rocked up, we were like, he's in it now. He's in for the run.
And we get the Randy memorial, don't we, inside the house? That was nice.
Yeah, that's very Randy. That's a very Randy character thing. Like the whole memorial, just like the whole mantelpiece is dedicated to him. He's got a portrait and everything, and it's like, shit. It's very in your face.
Mindy's definitely the new Randy.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
Even later on, like when she's watching stuff, she's like, "Oh, I like watching it because it calms me down," or something. Or whatever.
Yeah. I love the comment of like, what you like to see your uncle being stabbed. She's like, it calms me down. I was like, oh god, I love that.
And we also love Randy's sisters in it as well, isn't she? There's another survivor. Good to see her again since part 3. And then we get Mindy. Basically, like I said, she's near Randy. She gets up and she's talking about the requels and shit like that.
Yeah, this isn't a sequel; it's a requel.
Yeah, like Halloween.
Yeah.
And she also mentions like child's play and stuff like that, and that's not the way to do it. You gotta make the sequel to the original, but also like do something new.
I feel like
Mindy's really good.
She's such a good character. She's definitely related to Randy.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like Mindy is playing the audience because like she's
because like we said before, she talks about like when her parents like showed the kids when they were 10, and then like they were getting disrespected with stab 8 and shit in it.
Yeah.
And then who is it? She mentions the ties to the past. Did you all start talking, don't they? And then that's when it comes up that Vince was related to Stu. Mindy says Sam's the main suspect, doesn't she? Because of like being the daughter of Billy and all that, and even Dewey's looking at her a little bit like
Yeah.
So she storms out from there, doesn't she? Inside the car once again. More Billy.
Billy in the back seat of your car. Imagine that. And he's got like a real crazed look in his eyes, and he's like telling her to like stab them and slit their throats.
Rip the throats out and all that.
Yeah, and all of that. And she's fighting him. She not physically, but like she's saying no, all because she does not want to turn into him.
No.
That's the last thing she ever wants is to turn into her father.
The way she sort of does at the end. I mean, she didn't kill an innocent person, but you know, you could tell she fucking enjoyed it.
She did.
They even make the point to show us the same shot, don't they? Like when Billy was holding the knife.
You gotta do that.
Yeah, true. But I mean, like we'll get into it later. But yeah, I think they might go somewhere with the future with that. Maybe. Like we said before, we get Judy'S Death, don't we? She's on the phone with Ghostface. Wes is inside the shower at her house. And he's like, "Oh, you're not gonna make it back in time. I'm gonna kill your son and all this." And you can tell, you can feel the pain. Like, she's trying to get home as fast as she can to save her son.
Yeah, you feel sorry for her.
Oh yeah, and she's got the note on the fridge, and she like the lemon squares.
Yeah,
she was obsessed with part 4. Eventually arrives to the house, doesn't she? And as she's going up to the porch, Ghostface just fucking appears out of nowhere and just stabs her in broad daylight.
And like her death was quite brutal, actually.
True. They also played, like we saw about before, they played us with the trailer, because there was a shot inside the trailer of Judy inside the uniform in Stu's house. So that was clearly a fake out to make you think, oh, you know, she's going to survive, but nope, she dies. Yeah. And then the play was really good, because Wes comes down and starts opening doors and shit. And he does it at least 3 times, and each time you think Ghostface is just going to be there.
I think it was more than that. And the thing that I also like is that there's black cloaks hanging around in certain places that make you go, shit, there he is, but he's not. And I love that about these films.
I thought it was going to be revealed that he wasn't, like, going to get killed, like Ghostface wasn't there. Because they kept trying to play it like, and I thought it was going to be like, oh, you know, this is like Wes's perception. He killed his mom and then he just, you know, pretends everything's fine or whatever, but nope.
Yeah.
He's going through the front door, doesn't he? And as he turns around, Ghostface is there, and this is a fucking brutal kill.
Oh,
he stabs him like No, it's the neck. No, is it the face? Is it the neck? Yeah,
it's
all
the
the way through. Oh my god.
Not all the way through like that, but like through the
No,
side.
yeah, the side, yeah, like that's
Yeah.
what I mean, like that. And you it's a good visual effect as well. And
Yeah,
he's just
it's
sliding
really
down
good.
the door.
It-
I felt
that's-
so. I actually like Wes. Like not as much as like Richie and Mindy, but I did like him because he was smart, wasn't he? He had like the tasers on him and all that and shit, and he was the most reasonable one, but he was the most prepared, and he died.
He was the most prepared, but I liked it when before Judy left to go get his sushi. He was like, yeah, I'm protected, and he like pulls out a taser and everything, and
You're
it's
with
like,
him.
well, considering what his mum went through, and she's a police officer, what do you expect? What do you
True,
expect her
true.
son to carry?
The aftermath, Sam shows up at the scene, doesn't she? And then Gail's there as well. We get reintroduced to Gail. And like we said before, like we won't go into it again, but like the whole Dewey scene with Gail. Sam has to go to the police officers, doesn't she? Because they're at here and not at the hospital with Tara. And they're like, oh, because Judy's the top, what is it, the sheriff?
Yeah,
Yeah, she's the top, like, so they all immediately came because obviously the sheriff's down. So that makes Sam and Dewey rush to the hospital. And this bit's a little bit confusing because I'm sure when they're inside the car, it's dark outside, but then at the hospital, it's light. So I don't know.
I can't remember.
Maybe I'm just remembering it wrong. I don't know. Tara's inside the hospital, isn't she? And she hears someone like one of the workers say, "Oh, you can't go in there." And then there's like a little shuffle. So she's like, fuck this shit. She pulls her IV out, doesn't she? She gets inside the wheelchair, and it's like you said when we was talking about before. Like you could feel her pain because obviously, we didn't even mention at the beginning she gets stabbed right through the hand, doesn't she?
Yeah, right at the beginning, because I think you kind of forget about that until you see it all bandaged up in this scene that we're talking about.
And then she's using her hand for the wheelchair, and fucking the cuts came
it's
on
just,
and shit.
It's just bleeding all over like the wheelchair.
So she sees the dead cop on the floor, doesn't she? So she hides inside a room with her phone. And then this should have gave it as well, because Richie just walks in and he just smacks her with the head with the phone. And then Richie turns around and goes for his head and he slashes his arm, and there's another giveaway because, it's not deadly, is it? It's just a slash on the arm.
Yeah, and Ghostface intentionally leaves Richie.
Yeah,
down.
he just knocks him out, knocks him out. And then he's on the phone to Sam and he's like, choose which one you want to live, your sister or your boyfriend. And this is the smart moment. It reminded me of Karen in Halloween, with the gotcha moment when Michael's, because she's like crying and stuff, and she's like, oh, please don't make me choose. And she's like, how do you know I'm not just buying time? And then the elevator opens and it's her and Dewey.
Yeah.
And Dewey just starts shooting.
Yeah. Oh, that was. Oh. What happens next just makes me to just love that all the more. But
Go to the elevator.
Is down at this point.
Yeah, Ghostface has been shot multiple times, but I think we all knew at this point, like, he must have had a bulletproof vest or something, because that's not going to be the end, is it?
To be honest, I thought they killed one of the killers.
That would be a good twist. Halfway through, one of the killers gets killed.
Yeah.
We're not seeing that before.
Something doesn't go to plan.
And then he knows that, doesn't he? Well, he says you got to shoot him inside the head, so he pressed the elevator on the other side, doesn't he? And they go down.
He stood on the outside of the lift of the elevator, pressed the button, and said, "You got to shoot him in the head. I'm gonna go do that." And in that moment, my heart fucking descended into my
Because
arsehole.
when we were watching it, like, we was tense, we was holding on to each other, and then we got to the elevator, it was like, oh, okay, he's safe. And then he did that, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, we were just like, oh, he's dead, he's gone. And I actually cried. I cried.
I was nearly crying, too. If I got admit, I nearly cried.
I was crying. I also cried when we saw Billy, so...
Oh, yeah. But that was a different kind of crying, though.
That was a different kind of crying, but Dewey's death? Yeah. Holy shit.
He went out on style.
He really... Well, no, but...
He did, in a way, to kill. It wasn't just like, one stab and he's down.
Everyone else just gets a stab here and there. Dewey, he got stabbed in the stomach, then stabbed in the back, and then it looked like...
She pulled him.
Yeah, it looked like she pulls the knife up his...
You see all the blood start dripping out when she pulls.
At one point, I thought we were going to see his guts spill out.
I thought that for a second as well.
I thought that guts were going to spill out, and not going to lie, they should have kind of added that maybe. Maybe that was a bit too gruesome. But it's been done before. And
you get that amazing line, it's an honour. Like, they use that inside the trailer, and it makes it seem like you say that to Sydney, but no, that's where it's used. It's an honour after it. Oh my, I fucking love that. I don't know why, it's just, I love it so much. And like we mentioned, Gail's calling, isn't she, on the phone? And that's the last thing Dewey sees is Gail's face.
And he looks really happy.
Yeah.
He looks really happy dying, finally.
But not just that, he went out saving people as well, didn't he? He wasn't just sat inside his trailer doing nothing. He actually,
He went out a hero, but just the way he died and what he was looking at and what he's been through.
Perfect way, I think. Respectable way as well, in a way.
It's a respectable way, yeah.
So from there we get Gail's reaction, don't we? Outside the hospital.
I started crying again.
I knew when we seen that inside the trailer, I knew exactly what she was reacting to when we seen that. You could just tell. Sydney arrives, doesn't she, from there, and she tries warning Sam. Like, because Sam, Richie, and Tara are just gonna leave, aren't they? Like, let's do something no one else does and actually just leave. Just get the fuck out.
Never been done before.
But on the way out, like, she's like, no, I'm just leaving. And so Sydney's like, all right, good luck. And Gail's like, what? And she's like, oh yeah, I placed the tracker on a car.
Yeah, that made me laugh.
So from there, we go to the party at Stu's. And this was supposed to be a big reveal, innit? That, like, well, we didn't know Amber lived there, but they showed the house quite a lot. So it wasn't really, like, a reveal, like, oh shit, we're inside Stu's house. Like, we all knew it was going to end up there. From there, we go to the basement talk, don't we? Amber's down there. And then Mindy comes down and she's like, why did you go down here by yourself? I'm the killer. No, I'm the killer.
Yeah. To be honest, there was a point where I thought Mindy could be the killer.
Same.
But then I thought maybe Amber. And Amber confesses to it.
Yeah.
To Mindy.
We get Chad looking for Liv, don't we? It's like an invitation, doesn't it? Because Liv's like gone missing. The girl, like, that's what I mean. There's not much about this character. Like, she went out with Vince or whatever, and that's all we really know about her.
There's a word that Mindy uses to describe her, and it makes
oh yeah, they all call her boring, don't they? But yeah, he gets the invitation on the app to start tracking Liv's location.
Yeah, isn't the app called Find My Fam?
Find My Fam, yeah. But he gets stabbed multiple times, doesn't he, by Ghostface. And before they finish the job, the car pulls up, doesn't it, with Richie and Sam. So yeah. I'm guessing he just leaves him at that point because he's alive at the end. Richie comes in, doesn't he? Clears out the party. What does he call them? Gen Zers or whatever.
Hello, Gen Zs.
When someone leaves the court, it's like, oh, thank you for leaving the court. I loved Richie, man. I really did. Richie was so funny. Most of his lines, I was just laughing. But yeah, getting to that point, like I said, Liv comes back in, doesn't she, with blood on her hands.
Yeah.
And I think you're right about this because Randy did the same thing. You remember in the original, when he comes in, Billy pulls out the gun and he shoots him. And what happens here? Amber pulls out the gun and shoots Liv. Oh shit, no, we skipped ahead, right? Just before Liv comes in suspicious, doesn't she? Mindy's watching the stabbing. She stab. I don't know which number it is, but it's someone playing Randa.
Yeah.
And she's like, turn around, Randa, and Ghostface is behind her. And then, call back to the original right there. But she actually does turn around in time to like stop. Well, she gets stabbed, doesn't she? But she doesn't die.
The way she turns around, it's like it was like a oh shit moment. Wait a minute, let me just check. And like her face is like no.
I forgot who someone saves it, doesn't they? Someone throws the lamp at Ghostface, and then he like disappears.
Tara?
Might have been Tara or Sam, yeah, one of them. He disappears, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then once he disappears, that's when Liv comes back in with her blood on her hands, all suspicious. Amber pulls out the gun, which made me just say, oh shit, I was not expecting that. She just shoots you straight inside the edge. She goes, welcome to the third act.
Yeah.
I liked Amber as well. She's fucking crazy.
Yeah. When it comes down to the two killers in the end, Richie and Amber, very clearly see that Richie was trying to be Billy and Amber was trying to be Stu.
Yeah, Sid and Gail arrived, don't they? And Amber comes out pretending to be stabbed. They question it, don't they? You're like, this must be a trap. And she goes, oh, fuck it. Amber pulls out the gun and just shoots Gail right inside the side. And then Sydney goes inside, like you said before, on the phone. And she's like, oh, I've seen this movie. And it's like, you've not seen this movie.
I love how Sydney goes in with the gun and shoots every single door.
Yeah, and she goes upstairs, shoots another door. She shoots Richie inside the leg. She's like, why didn't you come out? She's like, you're just shooting everywhere. Why would I come out?
Which, you know what? Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense for him, yeah.
And Ghostface appears behind her. And Richie goes, oh shit, it's Ghostface.
Yeah.
And they both fall off the stairs railing, don't they? They go crashing down. The gun's like, they're separated between the gun, aren't they? It's Amber and Sydney in it on the floor. And then like Richie's slowly coming down. She's like, get the gun. He's like, oh, it's hard. You shot me inside the leg. You can tell he's playing it up because he don't want to get the gun. And then Sam comes and grabs the gun. So Sam's got the gun. And then Richie comes to her and he stabs her, revealing to be the other killer. Unfortunately, like I said, because I really like Richie. And like I said before, he has that line, it's like, oh, it's a bummer, innit? Like, I'm sure they wrote that because they're like, yeah, people are going to be pissed off that he's the killer because they like him so much. And then they take him to Stu's kitchen because, you know, you got to create the original. You got to do it inside the kitchen. Well, we'll talk about the motive. They're obsessed fanboys and girls, aren't they, of the Stab series, which is really Scream. And they made Stab 8, which we didn't mention before. They showed Stab 8 a little clip. They got like the Dead Meat podcast talking about it. And it's like Ghostface with a chrome mask, with a fucking flamethrower, with fucking short fucking vest on or whatever.
He looks like a Pyramid Head out of Dead by Daylight.
You can tell, like, the way they filmed that, it looked straight to, like, video. Like, it looked really low budget, like the Stab 8. And that was obviously intentional, because that's the point, isn't it? Like, it's a commentary on people who hate the film and shit like that.
Didn't at one point he was like wielding 2 samurais or something?
Yeah, it was more like Samurai Pop or something like that. Yeah, it was so fucking weird. I would actually like to see it. That would be funny.
Yeah, that would be so funny.
They're going to set up Sam as the killer, aren't they? They're going to frame her because she's Billy's daughter and stuff like that. Which it would make sense in a way. And they've also, we got a surprise appearance. You want to talk about Scream with us? They've got Tara tied up upstairs as well, haven't they? Who's supposed to be, what is she supposed to be, like Sydney's dad in a way? Because he was tied up in the original, wasn't he? Because Richie planted the thing, you know, it's like, oh, it could be your sister. Because she lured us all back here and shit. But the way they framed it, like, she's got a knife, and she stops cutting her for a second. Not cutting her free from the thing. And then they cut away, and it makes you seem like, oh, she didn't save her, but it's revealed she did actually save Tara, so Tara's on the loose, and she attacks Amber, doesn't she? She starts hitting her with a crutch, doesn't she?
She fucking wails on Amber with a crutch, and I'm just like, go on, girl.
And it's Sam versus Richie in it, and she sees Billy inside the mirror, and you thought, what, the umbrella was there, wasn't it, as well?
They had the perfect shot of the umbrella bucket next to the door, like in the original. But you see something underneath the curtain. I thought it was a lighter or something. It looked like it looked metal, basically.
Oh yeah.
And you see Billy in the mirror, and he's like nodding towards that area of the umbrellas and this little metal thing on the floor. And I thought, oh my god, she's gonna grab the umbrella like Sydney did to Billy and stab Richie with an umbrella. And I was like, I'm waiting for it.
Yeah.
But no, it's a knife on the floor.
A knife would make more sense, don't it?
A knife would make more sense, but I mean, come on.
And she just starts unloading on him, doesn't she? You get, like I said before, the same shot of Billy holding a knife, she's holding it as well, and she's just fucking going, oh my days. Like I said, if you want to do a sequel and she's the killer, like, you've set it up here, no doubt. Meanwhile, inside the other room, it's Amber, Gail, and Sydney in it. And no, Gail, they decide, and it's like, which one do you want to do? So Gail shoots Amber, and
the hob is on.
She turns around and she gets set on fire, and that was... Because I seen it inside the trailer, the shot, I was like, who's getting set on fire? I thought it'd be the ghost face with the flamethrower, but they were not related at all.
She looked burnt to a crisp when she fell on the floor, and I was like, she's dead, but something
They
else
always come back. Yeah, Sydney says, don't shoot me inside the head or something, they always come back, so fucking Sam just shoots Rich like 4 times in the chest and the head and everything. I think it's over, and then Amber just comes running in from the kitchen with a burnt fucking face.
Yeah. And like her friggin' like head's what is Quincy doing in the background?
I don't know. Quincy.
Yeah, her like half of her hair is like singed off as well, and like I think she got doused in alcohol or something as well.
No, it was hand sanitizer, because she actually makes the point. She's like, fucking hand sanitizer. Oh, that's what's all over her face.
Oh my, I thought it was alcohol or something.
No, it was a massive bottle of hand sanitizer.
Oh my god.
It ends outside, doesn't it, with Sam asking Sydney if she'll ever be okay. She asked Gail, would you write a book about her? And she's like, no, I'm not going to give him, the fame or whatever. She's like, I'm going to write about Dewey, like the deputy and stuff like that. And Sydney's like, yeah, read that book. And it ends, the final shot is a news reporter outside Stu's house talking about the events, just like Gail did in the first one, and it slowly zooms out. We get a quick shot of Ghostface wiping his knife. They did at the end of Scream 1 and 2 to make people know that Ghostface is coming back.
Right at the end as well, we find out that Mindy is still alive and her brother Chad is still alive.
Oh shit, yeah, I forgot about that. I did the thumbs up.
They're like, Mindy was just so funny. She was like, oh my god, and like gave him a thumbs up, and Chad's just in the ambulance like, and gave her a thumbs up back.
Overall rating, what are you gonna give it out of 10?
Out of 10, I'd give it a 9.
Same here. Because the characters were good, weren't they? It was brutal. The kills were fucking brutal.
They weren't annoying characters. They were characters that I very much like. I loved the fact that fucking Billy came back.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised that didn't leak. Like I'm really surprised.
I love the fact that they use the same locations, the brutality of the kills as well, the detail of the kills as well. They were just so great.
All the callbacks as well, little Easter eggs and shit as well. But yeah, it's gonna do it for this like really big review.
I knew it wasn't going to be 20 minutes.
It's fine because there's a lot to talk about. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're new. Check out George's social links down below. Until next time, peace out in a bit.
It's a screamer, baby.